Have you ever stopped to wonder how stress affects our bodies? Stress is a fascinating and complex phenomenon that is as much a part of human life as breathing or sleeping. It's an inescapable reality, a common thread that weaves its way through our everyday existence from the moment we wake until we finally close our eyes at night. But what exactly is stress? At its most basic, stress is our body's response to pressures from a situation or life event. It's a survival mechanism that served our ancestors well when they were faced with life-threatening situations. Today, however, our stressors are less about physical danger and more about juggling the demands of our increasingly busy lives. When we perceive a threat, our bodies spring into action. The adrenal glands, located atop our kidneys, start pumping out hormones, preparing us for what's often called the fight or flight response. These hormones include adrenaline, also known as epinephrine, and cortisol, both of which play crucial roles in how we respond to stress. Epinephrine gets your heart pumping, dilates your airways for increased oxygen flow, and heightens your overall awareness. It's the hormone that gives you that rush of energy, that sense of hyper-alertness when you're facing a challenging situation. Cortisol, on the other hand, is a bit more insidious. It's designed to keep us going through prolonged periods of stress. It increases sugars in the bloodstream, enhances the brain's use of glucose, and suppresses non-emergency bodily functions like the immune response and digestion. However, the continual activation of the stress response can take a toll on our bodies, leading to various health issues such as heart disease, sleep problems, and mental health disorders. Our body's response to stress is more complex than you might think. Two key players in this process are the hormones epinephrine and cortisol. When it comes to stress, the hormone epinephrine, also known as adrenaline, is a major player. Let's delve into the fascinating world of epinephrine and its role in the stress response. Picture this: you're walking down a dimly lit path and suddenly a snarling dog leaps out at you. Your heart races, your palms sweat. That's epinephrine in action. Epinephrine is a hormone secreted by the adrenal glands, located just above the kidneys. When our brain perceives stress, a chain reaction starts, leading to the release of epinephrine into the bloodstream. Within seconds, it reaches every corner of your body, preparing you for the immediate challenge. One of the key roles of epinephrine is to increase the heart rate. Think of it as the conductor of your heart's orchestra, setting a brisk tempo when it's time to face a threat. This accelerated heartbeat ensures that more oxygenated blood reaches your muscles, priming them for action. But that's not all. Epinephrine also boosts blood pressure by constricting certain blood vessels. This sends more blood to the vital organs and muscles, enhancing your physical capabilities. It's like turning on the turbo boost in a race car, giving you that extra push when you need it most. Additionally, epinephrine triggers the release of glucose and fatty acids into the bloodstream. These act as fuel, providing energy for the impending fight or flight response. It's akin to stoking the fire in an engine, keeping it running at full steam. However, it's important to remember that while epinephrine primes us for action, it doesn't work alone. It's part of a complex hormonal symphony that's orchestrated during stressful situations. Epinephrine gears us up for action, but it's not the only hormone at work when we're stressed. Alongside epinephrine, cortisol is another crucial hormone that helps us navigate stressful situations. This hormone is produced by our adrenal glands, located just above our kidneys, and it plays a pivotal role in our body's response to stress. Picture this: you're in the middle of a stressful situation. Your body is in survival mode and it needs to make some key adjustments to help you cope. This is where cortisol steps in like a seasoned stage manager, ensuring that everything runs smoothly behind the scenes. One of cortisol's main jobs is to increase sugars in the bloodstream. It's like sending a surge of fuel to your muscles, giving you that extra burst of energy needed to tackle the challenge at hand. It's your body's natural energy drink, working to ensure you remain alert and ready. But that's not all. Cortisol also puts on the brakes for functions that would be considered non-essential in a fight or flight situation. It's like a stern boss telling these systems to take a back seat so your body can focus on dealing with the immediate threat. Reproduction, digestion, growth, these processes are all dialed down so you can concentrate on the task at hand. What's more, cortisol enhances the body's ability to repair tissues. Think of it like an expert repair team working tirelessly to fix any damage that might have occurred during the stressful event. It helps control inflammation and assists in the healing process, ensuring your body can bounce back effectively after a stressful ordeal. So, while cortisol might not be the hormone that gets all the glory when it comes to stress response, it's undoubtedly a key player. It's the silent partner, operating in the background, orchestrating a multitude of processes to keep our body in balance during stress. Cortisol, like a silent partner, works behind the scenes to keep our body in balance during stress. Ever had a moment when your emotions take over your thinking brain? That's what we call an amygdala hijack. Let's delve into what this means. Coined by psychologist Daniel Goleman, the term amygdala hijack describes a moment when our emotional response to a situation overrides our rational thinking. You know, those moments when you react impulsively, only to later wonder, why did I do that? Here's how it works. The amygdala, a small almond-shaped structure in our brain, is responsible for our emotional responses. When we perceive a threat, whether it's real or imagined, the amygdala springs into action. It floods our system with stress hormones and prepares our body for the fight or flight response. However, the amygdala doesn't always distinguish between a genuine threat and a minor inconvenience. This is where the hijack happens. The amygdala, in its bid to protect us, can sometimes overreact, leading to potentially irrational behavior. For instance, imagine you're about to give a big presentation. Your palms are sweaty, your heart is racing, and you're consumed by a sense of dread. You're not in physical danger, but your amygdala doesn't know that. It perceives the situation as a threat and triggers a full-blown stress response. This is an example of an amygdala hijack. So what can we do about it? The first step is awareness. Recognizing when our amygdala is taking the wheel can help us regain control. Deep breathing, mindfulness, and cognitive techniques can help to calm the amygdala, allowing our rational brain to step back in. Remember, the amygdala isn't the enemy. It's a vital part of our brain, designed to keep us safe. But understanding its role and how it can sometimes hijack our thinking brain can help us manage our reactions in high-stress situations. Understanding the amygdala hijack can help us better manage our reactions when emotions run high. Our emotions and how we process them are largely controlled by a part of our brain known as the limbic system. The limbic system, a somewhat elusive term in neuroscience, is a collection of brain structures nestled deep within the brain. This system is the hub of our emotional processing and plays a pivotal role in our emotional responses. It's like the command center, dispatching orders to the rest of the brain during times of stress and joy alike. One key player within the limbic system is the amygdala, a tiny almond-shaped structure. The amygdala is the emotional reactionary part of our brain, responsible for the perception of emotions such as anger, fear, and sadness. It's also the root of our fight or flight response, triggering a cascade of bodily reactions when we're under stress. But the amygdala doesn't work alone. Other structures within the limbic system, such as the hippocampus and the hypothalamus, work together in a finely tuned orchestra of neural activity. The hippocampus is crucial for forming memories, including emotional ones, while the hypothalamus regulates hormones and plays a key role in emotional responses. The limbic system doesn't operate in isolation. It's deeply interconnected with other parts of the brain, forming a complex network of communication. During a stress response, the limbic system interacts with the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain associated with higher cognitive functions, like decision-making and self-control. It's this interaction between the emotional limbic system and the rational prefrontal cortex that determines our emotional responses. When we're under stress, the amygdala sends a distress signal to the hypothalamus, triggering the release of stress hormones like cortisol and epinephrine. The prefrontal cortex steps in to help us decide how to respond to this stress, whether to stand our ground or to take flight. The limbic system, the amygdala, cortisol, and epinephrine all work together to help us navigate the complex world of stress. So, we've taken a journey through the body's stress response, from the rush of epinephrine to the role of the limbic system. We've seen how stress triggers the release of epinephrine, kick-starting the fight or flight response. Cortisol, the body's main stress hormone, regulates various processes to help the body manage stress. The amygdala hijack phenomenon shows how emotions can override our rational brain, leading to impulsive reactions. Lastly, we delved into the role of the limbic system, our emotional command center. Understanding our body's response to stress is crucial to managing it effectively. Remember, knowledge is power when it comes to your health.